I told my students I was going to Japan, and they all got really excited because Japan has influenced us in so many ways. The cars, the food, the anime, the manga. So much of our culture is influenced by Japan that, of course, we would all like to visit it. And so my students asked me to make a vlog, specifically JJ. When they first asked me, I told them, no one cares. And of course, they responded, we care, Mr. Chris. They convinced me. But everyone's going to Japan. So what this can't be is, hey, look at me, I'm in Japan. That's not going to work. There has to be a story. So I documented the entire trip inside of this journal. I have flights, metro, notes, stamps, receipts. I have art in here, postcards, Pokemon. I put all types of things in this journal trying to find a story worth telling. And I think I have it. This is for you, JJ. Hope you enjoy. The Japanese have this word, Ikigai. A simple word, but it holds a deep question. What makes life worth living? It comes from two words, Iki, which means to live, and Gai, which means value or worth. Your reason to wake up, your reason to keep going. Money or income wasn't necessarily tied to its original meaning, but of course, the Western world took that and ran with it. They turned it into a formula, stating that Ikigai is the intersection of passion, what you love, mission, what the world needs, profession, what you're good at, and vocation, what you can be paid for. A perfect balance, a perfect life. Coming across this concept was brilliant at first because somehow that diagram describes a journey I've been on for over 20 years. Since I was 14, working my first job at a deli, I've been trying to figure out how passion, purpose, and survival all fit together. And yet, the more I think about it, the more I wonder, are we supposed to even find our Ikigai, or is the point in the search itself? So now, I'm going to the place where the idea originated from. I'm searching for answers, or maybe better questions. Join me as we are traveling through Tokyo to find Ikigai. Jackie. Jackie, give me a kiss, kudasai. Tokyo. Once we landed, we took our bags to the hotel, and the first thing we did was a food tour. Llegamos a Japón. Llegamos a Japón. We always start off with a food tour because that sets the foundation for the rest of the trip, especially when you don't know the language. They say the best way to learn about a culture is through their food. Pork, salmon, sushi, overpour sake for prosperity. I love it here. On the ride back, I run into someone who I didn't expect. As soon as he saw me and I saw him, we did that little head nod thing, and he goes, "What's up, brother?" And the rest was a wrap. He told me about his travels throughout Japan. He knew instantly I was Puerto Rican, and that's when I found out he was from Brooklyn. And then he went on to tell me what his Ikigai was.
I mean, I never knew all the things I could do until I got out of America. I was thinking, man, if I stay here like my older brother, You know, them guys went out, man. You know, I said, and I had to lift up out of there, man. And the people was like, "Man, you mean the actor?" But see, that's the thing to put a drawback is others trying to pull you back down the
Crabs in a barrel.
Yo, my brother. Yeah.
Man, so you found your Ikigai. How?
Easy, man, because see, you got to first of all take yourself and isolate. You got to go into isolation. Even the best of people you love, man, you got to put them aside for a moment and realize this is my drive. I'm going here and I'm going to do it. See, I was going to make some videotapes to try to inform brothers in America, but I seen how I know Tupac and all them cats. I know Snoop Dogg and all of them. I met in California over the years. It's all about finding a lock for yourself so that you secure for your own self. Yeah. You got buddy. It's always about that. I remember Supreme used to cook a big pot of rice, man. Told my mother, "Here, you got 11 kids. I can make some more in there and poop up now and there." He had a thing where we could relate to each other, and it wasn't about society and with some materialism. It was about a passion for brothers. You got to find that spirit. When you hit your spirit, then you know.
For Malik, finding Ikigai was all about isolation, removing the noise so that you could lock in to find your true purpose.
Fire can be off.
One quick sleep and we were back in the streets of Tokyo. Two things that we did a lot on this trip was walk and eat. Another thing we did a whole lot of was shopping. I don't know if Jack's Ikigai is fashion, but it's definitely up there. Being a Queens girl, she's always had style. Clothes is the way that she can express who she is quickly without ever saying a word. When you see her walking down the street, you know, oh, she's got it. So we went to Goo, Uniqlo, and of course, Onitsuka Tiger. I just wanted the Kill Bills, but she got the slip-ons, some ballerinas, another colorway that looked like Gucci. She went in. While walking through what felt like a really trendy neighborhood, we stumbled upon this graffiti artist. His name is B. Hurley. I asked permission to film, then I asked if I could interview him for my vlog. His wife and children were waiting for him, so he told me to write to him on his Instagram and he'd get back to me. He kept his promise, and this is what he said his Ikigai was. I believe my Ikigai is art. It's beyond a passion or a means to make money. It's a necessity in my life. Not only brings me joy and a sense of accomplishment, it's also therapy, and honestly, something I can't really seem to explain, like breathing. It's something I need to live, however, I don't realize my every breath as I take it. It has been naturally incorporated to my everyday life. I have a thirst for continuing to learn and experiment with different mediums, styles, and figuring out how to apply art to different aspects of life. It's an endless journey, but continuously nourishing. So his Ikigai came from exploring his talents. Our second full day in Japan was interesting because on our first train ride, I crossed paths with another American, this time an architect. He told me that while he was in high school, he loved to paint and experiment with different mediums. As he got older, though, he grew a passion for the environment. And he's been working in Japan for over 20 years designing roads, streams, and other civil landscapes to work with the nature instead of against it. His Ikigai came from rethinking about what is our impact in the world.
Far away, in an enchanted land that seemed untouched by the steady march of time, there lived an old master named Gohan, who found a baby boy abandoned in the wilderness of the region. The old master raised the boy as his own child, and marveled as the youngster grew and became uncommonly strong. Now the boy, known as Goku, is on his own and has become the sole guardian of his grandfather's most mystical possession, his Dragon Ball.
トークいつも通りフロー愛せり CD2000J はトークひたすらドーピンジャパニーズシーまたショッピングモールそんなにうまくいかない欲しがっても欲しがりきれねえこの世界を歌うだけ Thank you nice guy iPhone 17 Pro 間違いなく夢見る今日も
That night, we revisited one of the stops in our first food tour, which was Memory Lane. Walking through, we passed by a few shops until we found one that felt right. And the place we spotted was more than a coincidence. The food was delicious. It was different skewers wrapped in pork, essentially bacon. Can't go wrong with that. I saw that the cook, who I later found out was the owner, had no problem using his phone's translator app to communicate. So I decided to shoot my shot and I asked him about Ikigai. And this is when I got the simplest answer yet. I guess it's about protecting this shop and protecting my family. When I told him I was an art teacher, he told me that the name of his shop literally translates to doodle or sketch. The gears in my head were turning, and it finished unraveling this preconceived notion that I had about Ikigai. It's a Western thing to make everything about money, but now I've come across different people that have expanded my perspectives. Sometimes in life, all you have to do is... Hold on. Okay, sometimes in life, all you have to do is... Let me check. Alright, reset. Sometimes in life, all you have to do is... It's okay. Let's switch machines. Let's try a whole new thing. Sometimes in life, all you have to do is... Don't give up. We're going to reposition. Sometimes in life, all you have to do... Sometimes in life, you have this perfect idea of how things are going to go, and it doesn't happen that way, and we have to choose to keep going. As we wrapped up our trip, we visited some shrines and paid homage to Japanese culture. to a studio called Pop Inc. Here, Jack and I both got tatted, and you might be able to guess what I got done. Ikigai. Of course, I asked my artist what hers was, and she told me her journey from Iran and how her only goal was to bring her family. Once again, in almost a poetic fashion, I was repeated that Ikigai, their reason for living, was family. Meaning didn't come from some internal passion, but rather an external love. I learned a lot on this trip. You don't try to put life and all of its meaning into a clean cut, nicely packaged, perfectly branded box. It's more complicated than that. What's true in one person's life might not be true in another, and we can learn from all. But I think most importantly, life is about something bigger than just yourself. If I was to summarize my findings, Ikigai sometimes means to separate yourself, to continue to explore and uncover how you can push those interests that you have inside of you, to consider your impact on the world, to honor those who came before you by continuing their legacy, and to be the bridge so that your loved ones may have a chance at a better life.